Well, hello and good evening. Actually, it's back to you, isn't it, Astrid, or admin at Expats Portugal? Both of us need to change our names tonight, don't we? You have a wonderful presentation for us about supermarket shopping, and there's a complimentary team here as well. And we have Humberto here from the Ask Our Expats team, who I'm sure will chip in as well with the best place to buy German products, possibly, in Portugal. Anna's here, Pam's here, and Thomas, of course, who all have a little bit of a story to tell with their various angles on consumerism and visiting supermarkets. But back to Astrid, who will share now a presentation with us, because you're particularly good, I think, on this subject, Astrid, with your record keeping, I think.
Oh, thank you. Well, yes, and also because I need to shop for a family of 4 every week, so if not more than once a week. So I know when we were moving here, understanding the cost of living with grocery shopping was really, really important. So I've put together a little bit of a presentation for everyone to get straight into what to expect to pay when you're here. And I'll share my screen now and we'll get the all in the road. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bear with me. So there are 8 major supermarket chains here in Portugal, but there are a lot of other smaller ones that I haven't mentioned here. But considering the population is around 10 million people, it's quite a lot of supermarkets to all have their piece of the pie. The prices are very competitive between each, and each have their unique shopping destination as well. So I find, unlike in Australia, where you could go to the supermarket and every store would stock the same thing, here in Portugal is slightly different, and you'll probably have your favorites from each of the stores that you would need to drop into numerous stores to get everything that you're after. So what I've done here is listed some of the everyday items that you will buy. I've based this on the supermarket brand names, and I did this shop in Continent. Just to give you an idea of what the entry-level price is going to be. Of course, you can always spend more for more premium ranges, but this is the supermarket brand just to give you an idea. I am happy to share this presentation too, so if you want to practice your Portuguese with the Portuguese translations here, you're more than welcome. Just email me at the admin at expatsportugal.com with a note saying you would like a copy, and I can email that to you. But comparing these prices to Australia, I was very impressed with the cost of milk, for example, at 79 cents. You'd be paying up to $2.50 for that back in Australia. It is very common for people here to buy the UHL. There's a whole aisle dedicated to UHL milk, and you'll find one, probably maybe 2 fresh milk brands, which is very peculiar, and they like their UHL milk here. Eggs are very affordable at $1.07, €1.79 as well as some others. Meat and poultry is very, very affordable as well compared to Australia. Prices begin from the free range chicken is €7.89 to pork loin for €6.49, and turkey leg, which is a very, very common dish for here, where you can have it sliced for your dinner. It's around €3.79. So the prices are very, very good per kilo, and feeding your family very affordable. Fish and seafood is another thing that I find is very affordable here in Portugal. In Australia, these prices are crazy. It's a luxury item almost to buy your family some seafood at night. Particularly oysters at €4.99 a kilo, and fresh fish is very, very economical. For example, for whole trout is €4.19 per kilo. Sometimes you can find that on sale down to €2 per kilo, so it's a great one to buy when you're out. Octopus is a bit of a luxury, but still very affordable at €11.99, and the side of a salmon is €16.99 with portions available too. So seafood is a very common meal for people to eat here. Fish is very, very popular. Back in Australia, it's a bit more of a luxury rather than an everyday item. So I'm very happy to be able to have access to great fresh seafood here in Portugal. The pantry is things that you'll find, all your dry goods that don't waste, so cans and packets. Pasta, you can get a packet of pasta or spaghetti for as low as 45 cents, which is pretty crazy. And olive oil for 3 litres is around €10.99, but you can often pick up olive oil in other stores at cheaper prices as well. Breakfast cereal, All Brand, for example, is quite up there at €4.49. But probably because it's a bit more of an international brand. I'm not too sure why breakfast cereal is quite expensive here. But a block of chocolate will set you back around €1.59 as well. For drinks, for instant coffee, you're looking at around €1.69 for a 80-gram jar. Coca-Cola, if that's your thing, is cheap at around €1.75. I put here gin, Tanqueray. So a bottle of gin will cost you €19.99. In Australia, you're probably paying about $70 or $80 for that. So here, gin is very affordable. And a bottle of real champagne from France will set you back around €49.90. So drinks are very affordable, probably because of the lower taxes and the fact that it needs to travel less than going back to Oz. But I'm sure prices might be comparative back in the States as well. So toiletries are very affordable. You're looking at around €1.49 for shampoo and conditioner. That is the home brand, but it is still very good product. Toilet paper will set you back around €3.79 for 24 rolls. So that's one of the huge packets, so very affordable. And toothpaste is around 84 cents. To go cleaning your home, you're looking for very affordable prices too. I've got here listed though the €24.99 surf laundry powder, which is around 92 doses. It is quite a high price, around €24. But if you're like me, you wait for every 4 or 5 week cycle, and that goes to half price. So like any supermarket across the world, they do have their sale initiatives, and about every 4 to 5 weeks it does go 50% off, even more, and that's the time to buy it. So never will you pay full price if you're interested in laundry detergent there. Fruit and vegetables, so fresh produce is very affordable as well, and it is very, very good. Bananas will set you back about €1.05 a kilo, which makes buying bananas very affordable. My kids love them. What surprises me here is the Hass avocado, around €5 per kilo. You'll pay about $5 per avocado back in Australia, so the price is very attractive. For vegetables, you've got pumpkin at around €1.19 a kilo. Tomatoes around €1.49 and can be even cheaper in the peak season. Lettuce and potatoes are all very affordable too. What I did here was pinch some recipes from the internet and cook them up and priced out how much it would cost for you to make it. So in this instance, it's a roasted salmon and veggie tray bake with basil and mustard yogurt. So I cooked this up. The bill for me came to €19.69 in total. And for the 4 of us to enjoy it, it was around €4.90 each, which is pretty impressive for fish. Again, I priced up this family favorite spaghetti bolognese. All the ingredients to make this cost me €21.08. So a family of 4 came to €5.27 per serve. Sorry, I'm just needing to close something.
These are great, Astrid.
That's okay. Finally, I made this apple and date pie just to give a sweet twist on it. It was with dates and sugar. All the ingredients in total cost me €5.90. So for the pie, cut into quarters, was around 98 cents per serve. So definitely showing some great value for money. So that's all my research and in a presentation. Carl, back to you.
Oh, that's fantastic and so thorough. With the best of intentions, I keep all my receipts from the supermarket, and there is of course the connection with the NEEF number and how you validate those for tax reasons, but they just remain crumpled up in my wallet. And I think you have a very different approach, a much more conscientious and a detailed approach to things, and that's extremely helpful. As Terrell was saying there, when is the dinner party? And Tammy also. What time is dinner, Astrid, to come to your place to enjoy those? I don't know if that can be part of the Premium Plus deal. Maybe it can be. I don't know. So thank you very much for that. We do have a few other folks with a view on this. Sarah joins us tonight from, no, I'm not going to put you on the spot now. I'm just saying, Sarah, that you live on a boat, don't you? Or you spend a lot of time on your boat, and that's a particular angle down there in the Algarve, which is fantastic. Umberto's here, Pam's here. We also have Anna and Thomas, who all, in our research earlier on this week, they all have quite, I think the word that came up was idiosyncratic shopping habits. Would any of you like to add anything to what's been shared by Astrid so far from the names I just mentioned? Oh, do I have to unmute people and see who's speaking there? Maybe Jerry and Astrid, you can help me with this, because I can't see.
There was one question early on in Astrid's presentation that asking if this was for organic food. I don't think it was, Astrid. Astrid, you're muted.
Zoom, I love you.
You're muted, Astrid.
Okay, while we're unmuting Astrid, I can tell you those aren't generally organic prices there, but you can. That's the other question, of course, is that you do get good access to organic food, or you can find it. And what I notice is that all of the shops now, all of the supermarkets, the big brands are increasing their organic bio ranges, and their vegetarian and their vegan stuff. So anybody with that particular approach or need will fare pretty well in Portugal on an increasing basis. You're with us now, Astrid, I think.
Yes, so I based that research all on the Supermarket Home brand, unless there was a brand name mentioned like the Kellogg's All brand, but otherwise it wasn't organic, it was just standard. But the supermarket's actually getting very organic friendly at the moment, particularly Aldi is very heavy with their organic produce and very, very affordable prices. So, but to do a webinar about organic product would be a whole different affair, but this just based on the major supermarkets.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas, if I can ask you to unmute now and join the rest of the gang here with something to add on here. You're a bit of, Thomas is a bit of a hunter-gatherer, I would say, in the supermarket. This is another great angle of how you can go around, and I do this as well, to be fair, but the markdowns happen early. And if you have no shame like me and Thomas, and you're prepared to go around the supermarket looking for bargains, the markdowns are extraordinary. Is this am I putting that the right way, Thomas?
Well, I think I'd start with the fact that I do try and start with the municipal market generally for the more organic type fruit and veg, and then top up. But you're quite right. I do like a bargain at the supermarkets afterwards. But I think, one reflection on, and sorry, Astrid, I didn't see the very beginning of your presentation, so sorry if I contradict or duplicate, but for fruit and veg, and basically almost anything that a municipal market in your area carries, they're likely to be the better value, and they're likely to be more local, more organic. It's not guaranteed. Obviously, they've got mangoes, they've got bananas. Sometimes their fish might be more expensive than the supermarket, but it's a great place to start, particularly for fruit and vegetables, particularly if you like adapting for seasons, because you won't find things that you can't get in Portugal normally at the time of year, except your mangoes and bananas, perhaps. But yeah, absolutely, Carl. I mean, I have my own particular routine, which generally ends me up at our Leclerc, as it's called around here, supermarket, which is a French chain. And they have really good imported products, particularly sort of dairy, some of the ham-based things that perhaps aren't local to Portugal, and you can get really good prices on them. I find it a really good complement to the other Portuguese outlets. So you can get, if you're lucky, you can get a pack of 12 yogurts for 99 cents, for example, which is fantastic.
Thank you. And do you have a guilty pleasure to share? Because I think one of the worries people have is whether they can find the things they might miss from back home. The general point, I think, is that across all of the supermarkets, the provision is excellent, and you will find most things now in a way that you wouldn't have done 5-10 years ago, possibly, and certainly not 20 years ago. It's truly globalized on the supermarket floor, and I think you have an example of that, don't you, Thomas? It's something you like.
Yeah, I mean, I do my shopping generally in 2.5 hour trip a week, and I'm usually hungry partway through. So it's a German processed sandwich with some kind of German salami and things in it that Aldi does, which really keeps me going very well. And it's terrible, and I don't recommend it to anybody, not least because I want to make sure there's still one in stock next time I'm doing my run.
Excellent, thank you. And I mention that only just to illustrate the fact that there is great consumer and culinary diversity in the supermarkets of Portugal. Pam, Anna, or Sarah, would you care to add here before we go to more general Q&A with everybody in the group here tonight? Oh, Pam's here. Hello, Pam.
Hello. Yeah, just agree with what Astrid said about vegetarian food. There's much more, or maybe it was Carl that said, I can't remember. There's much more range and it's increasing all the time. It can be a little bit expensive, but if you want a ready meal, a vegetarian ready meal, then it's going to be expensive. But all the fresh fruit and vegetables, fantastic, really good price. And I personally have more time to cook here. So yeah, great food ranges. I just wanted to mention there's an app called Too Good To Go, which is where you can buy, it's more takeaway, but some supermarkets do it, which is why I'm sneaking it in. You can buy sort of end of the day food at a reduced price in your local area. So if you get the app and you look locally, at the end of the day, they reduce. It's about a third of the price. You can get sort of bread.
Wow.
And it's like it's a surprise box of goodies. So you don't know what you're getting, but it's cheap.
Well, that's interesting. What's that called?
Too Good To Go.
Too Good To Go. I see a nice play on words there. That's fantastic. Okay, so Too Good To Go happening in Portugal now. Thank you, Susan, saying we're very surprised to find low prices even in the smallest pingados in small neighborhoods. It's true. I don't think because it's the last one to be open or the one that you'll only find for miles around that Portuguese retailers tend to exploit that fact. So that's a good thing here as well. They don't take advantage, I suppose it would be another way of putting it. Going back to your presentation, Astrid, Jeff's asking which we know what Jeff's buying habits are from this question. Which supermarket would compare to M&S or Waitrose, Astrid?
Well, I have no idea.
Okay, maybe I can answer that then.
That's a trick question for this Aussie.
Oh, I see. Of course, I don't know what the Aussie brand is for. It's the upmarket stuff. It's the upmarket. Jeff has a very Epicurean taste, I think, and it's expensive taste. I think, as Thomas said, Leclerc, as some people call it, is a good place to go. If for the Brits, Continent is a bit like Tesco. And I think the Lidls and the Aldis are pretty much universal, aren't they? And I don't know if you have those in the States at the moment, but I'll allow you all to make your own sort of comparisons with that culturally. But thank you for that question, Jeff, and I hope that helps. Leclerc, it would be a good place to start for you, sir. Please expand on the NIF receipts collection. I'm going to give this to Anna, because Anna's been doing this all her life, probably. And this is what happens. So you're at the supermarket, and the first time this happens to you, the cashier will say to you, something including the word contribuente or fatura or something like that. What are they talking about, Anna?
Yeah, it's because a couple of years ago, when we went on a severe, almost bankruptcy, the state, the government started a program that if you ask for the receipt with your NIF number, you would get to enter a contest to win a car. And then they change from a car to an amount of money. And why is that? Because there's a thing in Portugal called a parallel economy. I don't know if it's the correct word, but it's because a lot of companies and a lot of little companies try to escape from taxes, which are very high in Portugal for our level of life. So what happens is you go to a place and you did not ask for the receipt. So the company did not register the buy. So it is like a snowflake that it starts small, but in the end of the line, it's a big thing. what happened is after that in program that the government asks people to fill out with the NIF, they discover thousands, I mean thousands, and are really thousands of companies that didn't exist until that moment because they never registered any shopping or any buy. So the government was very happy with that program, and the people who won the car also, and the people who won money also. So nowadays most of the people ask for the receipt with the NIF number, because that way you have on your tax register everything that you buy, and in the end of the year when you do your tax report, you get some kind of benefit from asking those NIFs number and those receipts. So you can be like, if you spend 1,000 euros in the supermarket, you can get a discount up until 100 euros on your taxes. So people are starting to ask for the NIF, and for the government was great because they could bring out some companies that were working undercover. So it was a win-win situation.
The parallel economy. That's a nice
Yeah.
way of putting it, isn't it?
A lot,
Yeah.
a lot, especially if you go to other sectors. Supermarkets are not the most because are big companies, but if you go to a little grocery, or if you go to the car where you repair your car, or if you go to the hairdresser and you never ask for the receipt, they will not declare that, and so they will not pay the tax. And so it's like a lose-lose situation, and now it's becoming a win-win situation. So
there you go, Ron. I hope that helps. And of course, part of this is when you get into the business of having a tax return, you're able to validate, aren't you, all your purchases. And it's quite disconcerting in some ways to go onto your financial portal or the Portuguese Finanças portal and look
yeah.
at your buying history. And it
No,
just
it
asks,
was like a funny, or it was a funny moment because people were saying, "Oh, I do not want the prime minister to know that I'm buying bananas." But it's no,
well, who
yeah,
would? Who
a
would?
lot of Portuguese still today say, "I'm not asking for the NIF number in my receipt. The government doesn't need to know anything about where I spend my money." So a lot of people still do not ask because they think there is a big brother watching you and asking everything about your life. The main thing is, of course, in the end of the year, if you declare a salary of 500 euros and you spend 10,000 euros in hairdressers, supermarkets, restaurants, something is wrong. So
Yes, I
so you,
see. They've got you every way.
yeah, you have to
Okay.
be careful with what, if you are asking all the time the NIF number in the receipts, and if you only declare a part of your salary, it can be a problem, but most of the people are doing it okay. So
And this is for Portuguese taxpayers, of course. And so the president isn't looking at your receipts every night.
I don't care if he knows I'm buying bananas.
Okay. All right.
It's
Fair
not
enough.
a secret. Yeah.
No. Okay. Good. Thank you for that. There was a question about. Thank you, Anna. There was a question about gluten-free and other such specific dietary needs, and somebody mentioned Saliro. Who was that? Who can talk to us about Saliro, which is a fantastic chain here in Portugal?
Yeah.
I think gluten-free products are becoming more and more common these days. I've got a friend whose son is gluten intolerant, and it's certainly easier now to find gluten-free than it was, when we first arrived back in 2012. So a growing market. And Salaro is a chain of health food stores that have a good range of fruit and vegetables and pantry products. A little bit more expensive because it is a boutique retail chain, but definitely somewhere worth going if you need to buy anything for special dietary needs.
Yep. Thanks for that, Astrid.
And also, I'd just add they are online as well, and they deliver. So that's quite handy if you're not near one.
And there are generic ones generally also called celeiros that aren't part of the chain. Most towns of any size have them, and I'm not quite sure what a US equivalent would be, but they're a bit like Holland and Barrett in the UK. They have a mixture of things for a healthy lifestyle, and that includes specific dietary requirements as well as homeopathic stuff, that kind of thing. They don't all have fresh produce, but most towns have got one. So even if they don't have the actual franchised brand, you'll find something that does that, I think.
And Soliro, Anna, means, does that mean a particular vegetable, isn't it, Soliro?
No, it's the barn, the place where you keep the food. It's the
Okay,
barn.
thank you. Is the
Okay.
Soliro. Okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
the American equivalent, I think, is probably Whole Foods is the best comparison. But Whole Foods is a bit broader, isn't it? Sometimes, particularly with its mergers. Okay. The question is coming. Although this is a webinar specifically about supermarket shopping, people are asking about the markets, and it is worthy of addition and inclusion into this discussion, I think. And farmers markets. Anna, they're not really the same. It's not really the same sort of idea with farmers markets here, is it? That, you know, most towns are market towns, and most cities have many markets. If you look at Lisbon or whatever, so there will be a market day most days rather than a farmers market at the weekend, right?
Yeah, usually all neighborhoods have a small market, even in Lisbon, and of course in rural areas it's different. Usually in small villages or little towns, the market is once a week, and it's a big market with local producers that go there to sell directly their produces. In big cities, there are markets in neighborhoods. In Lisbon, there are about 10 or 12 markets, and they are open every day for the morning. Even here in Cascais, the market is open every day for fish, vegetables, and fruits. And there are special days where those markets have also clothes, shoes, furniture, which is the big market for the week. And even in small towns, there are those markets. It's a very Portuguese thing that you go there and you already know the people that is selling there, and from one week to the other, you can already pre-booked the products that you want, and you go directly to those sellers. So it's like a relationship that you can have with the local producers.
Yeah, and it's a lovely part of Portuguese.
Yeah, the prices are a little bit more expensive than in the supermarkets because they do not have the big produce and the big chain. But usually, and I say usually because I do not know every market, of course, they are more organic, they are more natural, and they are more fresh. And it's environmental also, so it's sustainability because it's from local farmers, and it's a nice thing to buy in there.
Thank you, Anna. That's great. Excellent work, Astrid, says Paul. Prices in the Algarve are slightly higher. That's worth noting as well. Strange to Paul in that they have so many supermarkets there. I guess they might be taking advantage a little bit, Paul, there of the expat locals. Who knows? And Louise is saying to Stephen about around the gluten-free and dairy intolerance. All the supermarkets have good-sized gluten-free and vegan aisles. It's growing by the day, it looks like, and actually quite exciting products as well, which I buy for our household too. I found Ocean, that is how to pronounce it, right? Ocean large stores are the best, but they are all good. So Ocean there. You got me, Cynthia Blackshear, with Kerrygold butter. But we could also talk about substitutes tonight, and I'm sure Anna would agree with me. To substitute for Kerrygold butter, creamy Irish butter, you want to be going for Azorish butter, don't you?
I have no idea what butter is that. Sorry.
But the Azores are very famous for their butter, right? And the creamy
Portugal,
dairy butter.
because the epi cows live in the Azores, so it's the best milk and the best butter.
Happy cows in the Azores. Go see them sometime. You've got to put that on your list. I know that I haven't included you very much, Sarah or Umberto, from the team tonight. Is there anything you'd like to add at this point?
Am I on?
You are. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
I would absolutely second what Anna says about the local markets in cities in Faro. Every Sunday, old couples and looking really like their home produce, everything produced within Portugal. It's a much more enjoyable, intimate experience than the municipal market. Tremendous range of fruits and vegetables, things I've not seen before and that they're very happy to talk about. And kind of recognize you from the previous week. Brilliant. Don't have anything else to add at the
Okay,
moment.
I have something to add and to ask you. I don't think you're on your boat tonight, are you? Last time we spoke, you were drinking a glass of red wine on your boat in the Algarve, and it looked like such a fantastic scene. I was very jealous, actually.
Those were the days. Yeah, the boat is fine. It's
Right.
in the haul out yard in Faro, so I'm in the UK because the boat is safe, so I could slip
Oh,
away
I
for a
see.
bit.
Okay. But chandlery, which I think is the name for things to do with boats,
Yeah.
what is that expensive in Portugal for those boaters and sailors
It
among us?
really, really can be. And there are not many chandlers like we have in the UK with marine specific products. And it takes quite a long time to find out where the products are. So in Faro, I'm discovering Sergio Rock, which is a fantastic tool and hardware store, has marine grade epoxies, and the paint store in Faro supplies fishing fleet quality bottom paint and epoxy primer. So you really have to search it out. It's not sort of in one particular place.
Or just ask you.
First.
Or just book you up for an Ask Her Expat session, and she'll tell you everything. That is very specialist, if I may say so, Sarah. But and thank you so much for being with us tonight. Another another specialist among us is Umberto, who I wonder might have something to add as well to the whole business of shopping in Portugal, or not? Are you there, Umberto?
Me, yes, of course. So I didn't get you that you were talking to me. Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, I was just saying the specialist nature of Sarah's input there, all about being a sailor and owning a boat. You, from the point of view of shopping, what would you have to say? Because you have the comparison, don't you, culturally, of Germany and Portugal. What would you say about shopping and being a consumer in Portugal?
Well, actually, I'm not really the example of a good consumer because I buy only basically what I need, and normally quite concentrated on that. I try to help a little bit around here when I can, and so I buy some vegetables also in the market here in Sant Antonio, which, you know, the neighbor, you chat, you drink a coffee with them, and then you buy them some vegetables. And then actually I'm quite, I live myself, so I don't make this kind of shopping it out. So I like to use, for instance, Pingo Doce, which is in Castelo de Vite, which has basic all the needs that you can think of. And then in Porto Alegre, we have all the supermarkets that were explained by Astrid. So if you really need, I have to say, it's even if you live in the countryside like I do, in the middle of nowhere, it is not very difficult to get everything what you really need. Okay, maybe some specific tropical thing or so. Yeah, it's maybe not so easy, but basically everything is up. You can get everything.
You're clearly the man to speak to for those with off-grid pretensions, right? For the people who want to get away from supermarkets, I suspect you're the man to speak to, Umberto.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're figuring out an out-of-town, off-grid kind of existence. So worthwhile having a conversation with you about that, I suspect.
Well, yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Umberto. Thank you for this, Thomas, as well. Municipal markets are variable, but a combination of local producers and local sellers buying from local producers and suppliers. They are slightly old-fashioned, which I really like, I have to say, Thomas. Suspect you do too. So not trendy like farmers markets in other countries. That's very true. However, some in Lisbon and other places, some have been revamped to be more like that. Yeah, I guess so. Some towns also have a routine, e.g. monthly local produce market, which is more like the UK, US farmers market. Brilliant, Thomas. Thank you for that. And the little booklet, the Borda d'Água, tells you where the markets are taking place. Is that right, Anna?
Sorry?
The little Borda d'Água book, is that right? Is that? I mean, that looks
it's
like
a little newspaper.
Yeah, it tells you where the markets are.
Yeah,
on what
it's
days.
Old, very, very old, and it has a lot of information about the weather, the seasons, and the local produce of every season. And well, it's like a classical newspaper that everybody in Portugal heard about it. So it's very, very old. It's in black and white. It's still in a very old paper, and it has all the information. Yeah. And it's still on, so every year they make a new one for that year. Yeah.
And you can pick it up at the newsagent, some cafes. It's all over the place,
Yeah,
isn't it?
they're all over the place. Yeah.
And tell me, what does borda d'água mean?
It means you are close to the water.
Close to the
Borda
water.
d'água, which is
I thought so, but that's so misleading.
On
What's
the
that
edge of the water.
And
Yeah.
what's that got to do with markets?
I think it has to do with the rain, but with
Okay.
the seasons and everything, but I'm not sure.
There you go. So if you want to find out when you settled in Portugal what day the market is, get the Borda d'Água, the annual almanac. It looks like the cricketing almanac actually to look at.
I think we did not speak about the cards. There are what we call loyalty cards, or cards from the supermarket. The biggest brands have it, Continente and Pingo Doce and Mini Preço, and I don't know, Aldi and Lidl don't have it, or they have apps on the phone which also gives you discounts. But those loyalty cards are good because I can tell you my experience. Usually I buy at Pingo Doce online, and they have a website. It's not an app, it's a website, and every time something is missing, I put on the website as a list of my shopping list. And when I reach the 100 euros, because after 100 euros it's a free deliver at home, I usually order when I get to 100 euros. But what happens is on that website, I can also see the discounts that I have because I have the card. And I can tell you, last shopping I did was 113, but I got 48 euros of discounts, which means if I did not have the card, I would pay almost 160 for the same prices. And every week there are different products on sale. Meaning that if I want to buy cleaning for the washing machine, that I like to buy Skip, which is a brand. It's not a brand from the supermarket. It's an international brand, and it's more expensive. But I always wait for the moment when it has 75% discount on my card, and I buy like for 4 or 5 months, and that's it. And with that we can save a lot of money. So those cards are really, really good to do, and they are free. You just have to apply for them, fill out the names and your address and everything, and you can use it when you buy everything. So it's a good thing to have from all supermarkets that you need.
It sounds like you have to have project planning software and a military mindset to execute that sort of saving. But it's good to know that that's available, Anna. And there you go, Alan. I think that answers your question. And Margarita was also talking about these supermarket
it's
cards.
It's not like extreme couponing. I a lot of years ago, I saw on the television on a network, American, that are people collecting coupons, and it was like extreme couponing or something, and I was amazed by the amount of discount. It's not the same, we are not so crazy, but it's a good saving if you can save a lot of money. And sometimes you just buy for like a reaction to something, but if you know what you are paying, and if you use the applications to do your shopping list, you will get to know the price that you are paying, and when you see it's on sale, maybe you decide to buy it or not. So it's good to have the cards, and you can know when to buy things. I tell you, in my experience, every month I spend more than about 150 euros because of those cards, which means I can get 1 week for free for the shopping. So it's
very good. Thank you. That's worth knowing
saving.
about.
We are 3 at home. We are not a big family, but we love to eat. So we have a big supermarket bill.
Typically Portuguese, by the sound of it, a Portuguese family there who loves to eat.
I, as a Portuguese, I have to tell you, I buy everything on the supermarket except fish, I buy fish sometimes in Pingo Doce because my Pingo Doce here is really, really good in fish because we are in Cascais and it's
Sure.
local fish, of course. If you are in the interior of the country, it's more difficult to have fresh fish otherwise. But I always buy vegetables and fruits in local markets, not on the supermarkets, because on my opinion, the big supermarkets have big freezers where they keep the fruit before they sell it to us. So it's not
Yeah.
the same. So I always go to the local market. And here I have a thing which is I don't know the name in English. In Portuguese, it's called cooperativa, which means that is an association of farmers that are small farmers from several parts of the country, and they do not have the power to sell to the big supermarkets because they are small, every
Yeah.
one of them. So they get together and they form an association, and they deliver fresh products every week to several locations all over Portugal. And I go with the ones that deliver here next to my door. So every week I have a 8 kilo package with several vegetables from the season and from fruits, vegetables and herbs. And I will only pay for 8 kilos. I only pay 11 euros.
Boom.
So,
Fantastic.
and it's really fresh. And I know that I'm helping local farmers, which
That's
is
tremendous.
good. Yeah.
That is tremendous. Now, I suppose what we're doing here is helping you know that when you arrive here, you'll be fine with the supermarkets, and we're giving you a bit of a lowdown on what to do in the supermarkets. But as you become more comfortable, you can take advantage of the sort of things that Anna's talking about there and get to know that. And that's what happens. You never wander along to your local market and get involved with the cooperative and so on. But we're giving you an overall view of the supermarkets tonight and how to get here and feel safe so that you can buy some food and feel comfortable. And yes, there is a vast range of coffee in all supermarkets for those people who need to know that, who might be just getting jittery at the thought of that. Coffee in Portugal is amazing. You probably, I mean, you're never far from a fresh coffee anyway, at anything from about 50 cents to one euro. Great to know, Thomas, as well. Pretty much all supermarkets deliver, as do local stores without websites. Most of our elderly neighbours, says Thomas, have their food delivered by local stores who run their own vans. That's really nice to know as well if you're coming here without a car. Also, taxi drivers are used to taking people to the supermarket here in Portugal. And I've heard beautiful stories of people being collected from their homes, taken to the supermarket, and the taxi driver will bring you back home and unpack the shopping for you. Jacqueline was telling me that today. She had a taxi driver who used to do that. Fantastic, friendly service. Have we got to the bottom of the ground turkey inquiry? I think we might have done for whoever was wanting to know about ground turkey. And what wording would we look for to identify low fat, low sugar and low salt? One answer's coming. Gordo is low fat milk, isn't it? I think gordo, or is that the other way around?
No, gordo is the fat.
Gordo is the fat. Okay, so what this is? People like to buy their milk with added water, don't they? So
Yeah.
what should they be looking out for?
Magro.
Magro. I beg your pardon. Magro, not gordo.
Magro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magro is
And
skimmed.
then the SME is semi gordo, which is
Semi-gordo.
no, sorry, meio gordo. I mixed up the words. Meio gordo, which is the one in the middle.
Half fat, meio gordo. And I was delighted the other day in San Martino de Porto to find some leite genuino, which is like fresh milk. I think it's pasteurized, but possibly not UHT, not ultra heat treated. So you can get like fresh, proper milk still in Portugal if you know the right people to ask as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. The low fat, low salt. I mean, what else? What language wise, Anna? What can we say about low fat, low sugar, low salt products? You know, Earl's worried about too much processed food over there.
I have to tell you that most of the products already have English words on it, so no problem with that. But no sugar, maybe sem açúcar. Well, sugar is açúcar. Low fat is magro, so it's like the milk. And what was the other? Oh, salt, sem sal. Okay.
Fantastic. Right.
Or with baixo teor de sal,
Okay.
which is difficult, as I know.
Advanced.
Yeah, but it's like if it has a, because in Portugal sugar is taxed extra in the drinks, so that's why Coca-Cola is expensive and all the processed juices are more expensive because they pay extra for the sugar. And also there is a law that doesn't allow a certain amount of sugar on the drinks, and also a law that doesn't allow a certain percentage of salt on the bread. So it has to be with a maximum of salt. So it's a little bit of the health department controlling the foods as well.
Very good. Okay, we'll talk about specific Portuguese things that you should have, like Madeira and bananas, of course. There are some great things here that
those are
should
the
make.
best.
Yeah, you should make the transition to these things when you come, if you possibly can, because they are the great specialities of Portugal. I think Susan Scott likes those from what I'm reading in the chat. But let's do that now. For any of for our team here who've been living here for a while and made a transition from things they thought they could never live without. I mean, I for example, I'm happy to drink UHT milk, which I never thought I'd be able to do. I'm okay with that now, but I still have to have the English tea bags from Lidl. Thomas, have you got something along those lines where you've made a transition or you've discovered something new here in Portugal?
I guess in terms of adapting, I've always been quite sort of eclectic in what I like, but the main thing that I miss is actually lamb, sort of diced lamb, lamb that isn't on the bone. I used to cook lamb a lot, and it's quite hard to find anything other than large pieces on the bone here. I think one of the main things is in most categories, something here is more popular than you might be used to back at home. So I think it was in Astrid's presentation, pork is excellent value here.
Yeah.
I hardly ever ate pork in the UK. I never found it was very good. It's wonderful here. So we've adapted hugely in terms of what meat we eat. We don't eat a lot of meat, but a lot of what we now eat is pork. For example, in terms of fish, sea bass and bream, so dorada and robalo, are kind of the staples here, whereas they're shishi expensive things in the UK. Whereas salmon is, I don't consider it to be worth buying here simply because, you know, in a price comparison sense. So you can get most of what you want to do, but you might tweak it a bit to fit with what you're finding here in Portugal. Well
said. Thank you for that. And bread, Anna mentioned bread and the great, I mean, this is an important part of Portuguese life, isn't it? Pão, pão, queijo, queijo. Team, tell us about your experiences with bread and why, although you can get bread in the supermarkets and you're buying the part baked they finish off in the supermarkets, and who doesn't like that from time to time? Local bread in Portugal is a fantastic thing to develop a habit around. Anybody here have that delivered in the morning? Anna, tell us about that. We'll come back to you, Thomas. So
it's not a rural area. I live in Cascais. It's not the countryside, but there are bread delivered at my door every morning.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a online company that I book, but because the man died, the man before, it was a very old man that was doing the delivery every morning in the neighborhood. It was very popular, but he was already 82 years, and well, it's over. So now we choose a company that does the same. So they buy the bread from a bakery locally, and they deliver it to my door. And I leave the bag outside, and it's there, and nobody steals bread from anybody. So it's okay. It's
That's
safe.
reassuring.
But in more rural areas, it's pretty funny because sometimes they come on the motorbike and deliver the bread in every door. People leave the cloth, the bag for the door for the bread on the door, and you only pay like on the end of the month or on the end of the week. So it's a very common thing here.
And that's because by the end of the month, you're probably only being charged about 15 euros anyway for all of your bread for all of the month delivered to your door. It's quite extraordinary. Thomas, have you got a similar story?
Yeah, here in Santarém, where we live most of the time, we tend to get the local Rio Maior bread, which is a really good. It's quite a dense bread, which if you buy it sliced is fantastic. But we've got a kind of a restoration project in the country that we did up a couple of years ago, and there are various vans that deliver there and honk their horn, usually at an unsociably early hour on a Saturday or Sunday morning. And depending on the day, they have different selections. But the guy who comes only on a Sunday has fantastic bread, kind of wood oven type bread that's got that kind of aroma just from it sitting there, even when it's cool. And a great range. The best, I have to say, this is a contentious issue, but the best pastéis de nata I've ever had, which for a random rural place in the middle of Portugal, I think people in Lisbon would shoot me for saying, but just an amazing selection. So yeah, it varies a lot. The supermarkets are rarely the best place, but most supermarkets have one or two brands of bread they buy in from a relatively local bread producer. So if you look out for the kind of the plastic wrap ones that have got some branding that isn't the supermarkets on it, that's probably your best indication of some reasonably local bread to try if you want something that isn't kind of cardboard.
Good tip, sir. That's really good. Some excellent supermarket intel there. Thomas says, Terrell, we are planning to visit you. So it's a dinner party at Astrid's on a Saturday night, and then down to the Ribatejo of Santarém to see Thomas for some of those fighting talk pastel de natas that he's, or pastéis de natas that he's talking about there. That is fighting talk, absolutely. To make a claim of that kind, Thomas. Outrageous, sir. Come back to you, Pam. Have you made any adaptations or discovered something new whilst you've been here in Portugal in the supermarket?
The only difference really is in the UK, we used to find ourselves, because of working and not having much time, buying a lot of ready meals and processed foods, whereas here we don't have any at all processed foods. We just cook from scratch and the ingredients are not a problem. Just on bread, I think I can answer Jeff's question on wholemeal and granary bread. Yes, we like the seeded bread. We get it from our local Spar shop. It's really nice with lots of different seeds in. We just like that kind of thing. But we occasionally try different rolls from the pasteleria. Just try different ones, different days that take our fancy, and it's really good bread.
Tremendous.
Yeah, not much else to say. Really.
What have you discovered anything here? Because that's one of the lovely things, of course, about coming to Portugal, isn't it? A new food item that's in your repertoire now, having come to.
There is one recipe that I make that is based on a vegetarian version of a standard Portuguese dish.
Go on.
Bacalhau à brás. It's alho francês à brás, which is leek, and it's a little potato. They're like crisps, the little sticks that you get in the supermarket, and you mix them in with your leek and your cream sauce and actually bake it, which it seemed like an odd thing to do with them.
Totally get it. That's a nice adaptation, Pam. Very nice indeed for the vegetarians.
I had it in a restaurant in Évora, and I thought I'm going to make that, and now I make it.
Very good. And I tell you what, that's a good point there for our American friends here tonight. And this whole thing about, and even the Brits, chips, potato chips, and those things you're talking about, the palitos, little almost like cocktail stick chips. Anna, could you give us a quick guide, please, to the different kinds of chips, potato chips, and what people should be asking for? Because you can ask for chips in a restaurant, or even if you're in a supermarket, say, can I have some chips, please? And you would be given different things in different places. Anna, can we have a quick guide to that?
It's just for me, chips are two kinds. The one that are on, I don't know, the palitos in Portugal.
Yes.
And the other ones that are like if you cut it with your
a crisp.
I don't know the name in English. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the problem. You see, the Americans call those potato chips, and the British call those crisps.
Okay.
And then
so usually, if you go to the restaurant with your food, it comes the palitos, so the one that are like sticks.
Cocktail sticks.
Usually, But in some restaurants or with some kinds of food, they may present you with the other potatoes. They are fries, also fried, but they are, well, cut it differently, so they look like a round, a circle, but they
Yeah.
are. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm so sorry.
It's the strange world of potato chips and
Yeah.
chips. And you Brits
Yeah.
need to ask for batatas
And
fritas if you want French
yeah,
fried chips.
batatas fritas, yes. And in the
Okay.
supermarket, you can see on the outside the picture of it, so it's not a mix. They are frozen as well. You can buy them frozen to do it at home,
Yeah.
or you can buy it on the package to eat as you go. So
Okay. And there's another thing now coming in.
very popular
saute
for
batatas.
very popular for young kids, but not so popular for the rest of the people.
Yeah, Edris, thank you, Anna. And Edris saying Cheetos, Takis, Doritos, those highly branded potato chip kind of snacks, very expensive here compared to your local. You'll have a local company that makes a potato chip crisp, whatever you
Yeah.
call it locally, which might be under €1, but you buy those Cheetos and they're like €3 a packet or something, aren't they? It can be very expensive.
And we have also some fried potatoes that are made with olive oil, so they are not so bad for your health. They are bad, but not so health. Which are maybe, I don't know if there are in the other countries, but in Portugal, yeah.
There they are.
Yeah.
Yes, the ones fried in olive oil that are disappearing from my screen as I hold it up. But yes, look out for the olive oil crisps.
And another aspect, Terrell is asking about the schedule, the timetable of the supermarket. So most of them are open all day, even on Sunday and even on holidays, except New Year's Day, and some of them are open, or Christmas Day. The rest are open. The local markets, usually they are only open in the morning because the products are fresh, so they open very early, about 6 or 7, depending on the places, and usually they go up to 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you, Anna. There is a question I must ask. We have gone off piste a little bit and taken a few tangents tonight, but all useful stuff. I hope you will agree. Question for you, Umberto. As a shopping minimalist, what would you hazard a guess as to what you spend on food per month? Would you be prepared to say?
Well, I'm probably not very worried in spending the lowest level as possible, so I try to buy some quite good quality products. But I think by the end, it's with my animals probably between 150 and 200 euros for myself and my dogs.
For the month?
Well, it's enough, yes.
Yeah, amazing. There you go.
Okay, I'm not a big wine drinker like you. See, you spend a little bit more.
Nor am I anymore. I have to say, Umberto, you got me wrong this year. But yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying there. That would have been true until yesterday. But yeah, fascinating, amazing. Jerry is paying the princely sum of 16 cents per bread roll. There, the Pal d'Avo or similar. Fresh bread left at the gate every morning, says Jerry, often still warm. Large wholemeal rolls, 16 cents each. You probably have to wait till the end of the year to pay that bill, don't you? It's not worth them collecting the money, is it? Except for annually. And then the great shrimp question as well. Scallops are expensive, it would seem, in Portugal. And there was a concern that prawns might be expensive. They are abundant and reasonable, says Margarita. But what I would like to know, and I don't know if this is just a Portuguese thing or a continental Europe thing, and Anna might be the person, or Astrid might be the person to answer this. What does it mean, the 80-100, the sizing thing? What is that with shrimps? Can anyone answer that for us?
It's the amount of shrimps per kilo.
Oh, I see. Excellent.
So the smaller the number is, the bigger the shrimps are.
Fair.
I'm a shrimp fan. Okay. And I buy them on Pingo Doce, and they are great, and they are many times on sale, so very good price.
Okay, and do you have any concerns about where they come from, whether they're North Atlantic or if they're from, from Asia or whatever, and they're farmed or they're wild? I do not have worries about it, but at the Pingo Doce, the supermarket, they always tell where they come from, the origin. Yeah. Well, by law, they have to say it, so you will have to know it. Very good. I prefer excellent. The ones that are better for me than the Mozambique Yes.
which are very famous, but I don't like the Mozambique ones. So
Okay.
I prefer the other ones. So if you see 30, 50, those are bigger than the 70, 80s, or because it's the amount per kilo.
That's great.
Okay.
That's great to know. Thank you very much indeed, Anna, for that. The shrimp expert of the evening, apart from Margarita, I think, who bought 2 kilos of frozen Atlantic prawns for just €10. That sounds like a bit of a bargain. So finally, let's go to the animals now. Dog and cat food, kibble and wet food, Alan is asking. Stephen wants to know where we can get raw dog food, as in meat. That's another word for raw dog food, isn't it? Meat. Where would you get that from? If you go to a supermarket, often, towards the end of the day, they're marking down, and even some of the prices of the non-marked down meat is cheap enough to buy, isn't it, for animals? Some of the pork that Thomas was talking about, you can get. It's worth looking in the meat section for your animals rather than going to the dreaded canned food or whatever with goodness knows what else in it, ash and stuff. Anybody else have a view on that? Umberto might, as someone who loves his animals.
Well, I'm definitely not an animal lover. I just adopt all the animals that come under my door, and then my first dog came here. It was like it was quite winter, and it stood 2 weeks in front of my door. I couldn't resist. So I
2 weeks, Umberto.
Yeah, and then I started to give
You
him
resist
food,
a lot.
and now I have a guy who makes I can't get rid of him anymore, So I keep him, and I like him, and that's it.
So you're not an animal lover; they just love you. And yeah, okay. And words getting around it, you're a bit of a soft touch. So how many animals have you got now?
Actually, I have a very old cat. It's I don't know, but I assume he must be 8, 9. It used to be a wild one, and he's sick, and I was thinking, okay, I help you for a good finish in your life, but he really likes
5 years ago.
He recovered, and now he's really having here. And then and the other one was, I suppose it was an old lady, a couple who lived here in a little farm, and probably they couldn't manage to get there, so the social people put them in an elder's place for elder people to take care of them.
Yeah.
And the son didn't take care of the dog, so probably the dog find a new home. So he came here and I said, well, he's a nice guy, so let's try. And so he stayed 14 days in the door, and he resisted. And after all, I couldn't handle, so he's now here. And then he brought a friend, that's and then it starts like that. And I said, okay, you have to make a point here.
Okay.
So I have another one, which was a baby, which was abandoned. Nobody liked him because he was too small-feeted, and he's a very funny guy. So,
I can't wait for the movie. Quite frankly, Umberto, the movie of your life with these animals that keep turning up. Does it work for humans as well? If we come and sit on your doorstep for 2 weeks, we'll be
yes,
letting...
of course, you will be
Thank you.
very welcome, and we will always be my guest. That's not a question.
You remember where you heard it first, guys. Thank you, Umberto, for that. And of course, somebody making an excellent point. There are still proper butchers and fishmongers in Portugal. So you can get the offcuts, or whatever they call them, the wastage, for your pets. Just create a relationship with your local butcher, which I did in a small town. It's hilarious. Butchers are such funny people, aren't they? Often. And Ernesto, the butcher in my town, was fantastic. We couldn't really understand each other, but I'd leave there with a great big bag of sausages and burgers and meat and goodness knows what, bottle of wine, something else, the random stuff that he sold. It was a great experience, and something for the dog as well. So that's well worth doing. Thank you, everybody. That's been an information-rich hour plus there, plus some real nice quirky stuff from the likes of Umberto and Sarah, and some really steady stuff from Pamela, Anna, and Astrid, and some stuff in the middle from Thomas, as you might expect, somewhere in between the ends of the spectrum there. Thank you, team, for being here and doing that, and thank you to you, especially Astrid, for kicking it off with that fantastic presentation, which you can have, everybody, if you drop Astrid a line on that. So let's end the recording there, and we can go to a bit more social.
Carl,
Q&A.
I don't know if I can add just.
Please do.
It's just a subject that I see it appears a lot of times.
Yeah.
On the Facebook groups. It's about water. So.
Oh yes.
Drinking water. There are a lot of people that think that in Portugal you cannot drink water. I don't know why, because they think the quality of the water is not good in Portugal. I don't know why they think that. We have great quality of water. So in almost every places you can drink the water from the tap directly, no problem. It's potable, it's safe, and it's it's clear and it's good to drink. So
there you go, a staunch
less plastic
defense.
and less money. Less plastic, less money. Use your tap water.
Okay, and of course it's a municipal supply. It may be treated in some way.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't want that, you can go to some fonts, can't you? Some sort, direct water sources, as people do in like Basako, for example.
Yeah,
and
there,
people
of course,
drive there.
There are places where the water can have a different taste. So
yes, yeah.
Of course, make sure to ask and don't drink from every place. But in most of the places, the water is with high quality. And the fountains, if they are public, usually they present the analysis from the health department, so you can check the water before you take the water with you.
How about that? Okay. How about that? Just watch out for Portuguese people with their boot open, or the trunk, as you say in America, and bringing their bottles, their plastic 5-litre bottles, and refilling them at the fountain there. It's a wonderful thing.
Where I live, a couple of years ago, it was like a Sunday program. Everybody fill out the car with plastic bags to go to the Sintra mountain to collect water from the fountains and take home. So it was like a Sunday program to collect water for the week, because they say the water was better than the tap water, but it's the same. Yeah.
I would like just to put one on top of what Anna said. I think it's also a very important issue. The quality of the water that you have in the taps is very good, and there is no need on any kind that you have to buy plastic bottles to carry that home. So I think it's also an environmental issue to avoid this kind of one-way plastic.
Yeah.
I think what Anna said is that a lot of people get these old plastic bottles of 5 liters to go. Yeah. So they give a couple of uses to it before they throw it away.
They kept it on the garage. They kept the bottles on the garage. Every week they go with the same bottles to pick water. Yeah.
Tremendous.
And in some supermarkets, there are already a kind of a fountain that is, you pay there for the water, but you bring your own bottle to the supermarket and you fill out the bottle and then you pay when you leave. Here around me, Pingo Doce has that water. It's they say it's filtered water because it's trying to avoid people to buy new bottles of plastic, so they invite you to bring your own bottle and to fill with only the water. So it's another environmental help. Yeah.
Well said, Anna and Umberto. And for whoever was asking where Anna lives, that is Cascais that you can see behind her there. So yes, some great environmental points there. And of course, Portugal just, I think in this last week, has made the move to not have any single-use plastic, right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
And in all restaurants and all coffees are no plastic right now.
No, it's a European rule.
Yeah.
So it's not only Portugal. It's in whole Europe. You can't. It's going from now on. It's not allowed to use, for instance, plastic cups, plastic forks and knives, which is only for one-way use, which are forbidden now in Europe. So you will have still the possibility to buy them in a few couple weeks. But it's only when the stock is gone. When the stock
there
is
a
gone,
transition period. Yeah, the transition period. So people do not throw them away, but then it will be over. Yeah.
What great news.
And no straws as well. We do not use
and you can
plastic
get
straws. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get bamboo ones and stainless steel ones now. It's all being taken care of. Fantastic news. Or what are you thinking, Umberto? Just drink out the blooming cup. What do you need a straw for?
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, everybody. You've been amazing tonight. We will end the recording there, and we'll go into a bit of hands up Q&A and a bit of social.